So as you can see, things are heating up in the 6 battleground states that are still up in the air. And as the legacy media outlets either spin the facts or just outright refuse to cover what's happening, I would highly, highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel. That way you can get our reports sent directly to your YouTube feed 6 days a week. And if you've already subscribed, just make sure that you're still subscribed. YouTube seems to be just unsubscribing our fans willy-nilly. Good evening. After several weeks of investigating, we have uncovered a scheme wherein people were exchanging cash and gift cards in exchange for votes, and this was being played out across multiple states. In Facebook posts that have now been deleted, the Nevada Native Vote Project put up photos on Election Day of smiling, happy voters holding up $25 gift cards after handing over their ballots. Fortunately for us, these photos were archived and now we still have access to them. But the question is this: why did they feel like they had to delete these photos? Well, it might have had something to do with 2 sections of the US Criminal Code, which imposes both fines and prison sentences for anyone that makes or offers to make an expenditure to any person either to vote or withhold his vote. And this story gets a lot deeper. So let's go down this rabbit hole together. This is your 2020 election update, and I'm your host, Roman from the Epic Times. Now, offering gift cards for ballots was not the only way that the Nevada Native Vote Project enticed people to vote. In a video that's still actually up on Facebook, it has been deleted, the public relations officer for the Reno Sparks Indian Colony urged people to come out and vote by offering what she called some extra swag that can be given out. She said, "We have $25 gift cards to raffle off, so that's a lot of money in cash here. We also have 4 $100 gift cards to give away, so again, you want to make sure to get out here and vote. And then we have 4 $250 gift cards to raffle. And our grand prize is going to be a $500 Visa gift card to the person or native voters who come out early this week and vote." And in another video that has been deleted, she is promoting a swag giveaway in front of a Biden-Harris bus in Nevada. She says, "If you can, get down here and get yourself some swag. See the Biden-Harris campaign bus, and then you can go in person or drop your ballot off at the Reno polling station." Now, before we continue, I want to say that Nevada was not the only state that we found this happening in. Our team reviewed photos and videos documenting the same scheme in 8 other states, including the battleground states of Arizona, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And by the way, for your reference, we'll throw all of the links to what we found in the description box below the video for you to check out for yourself. And also, while you're down there looking for those links, make sure to hit that like button. These types of investigations take sometimes weeks to do. A lot of digging goes into them. And while we don't have any cash or gift cards to offer you, when you hit that like button, you are forcing the YouTube algorithm to share this video out to thousands of more people, potentially letting the truth be known far and wide. Now, in another video filmed on Election Day, the same public relations officer encouraged people to vote and told them about the raffle that's going on, with the prizes being cash gift cards valued at $250, $100, and $25, as well as t-shirts and beaded items. In another video, she's standing only 50 feet away from the entrance to the local voting center while holding a fat stack of gift cards and promoting the raffle. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well that's pretty bad, but at least this woman is not actually telling people who to vote for, right? Well, she kind of is, because at the end of the video, she tells the viewers to visit her voting recommendations page, in which she advises people to vote for Joe Biden. And in a later video, while drawing the winners of the raffle from a hat, she said, "Thank you for using your voice. Obviously, it had a tremendous impact in the way Nevada ended up and helped get Biden into office. We couldn't have done it without you." Now, we reached out to both this public relations officer, her boss, as well as the Nevada Secretary of State, but have yet to hear back. The scope of this is a lot greater though, because we kept digging and we found more videos of the Nevada Native Project promoting this cash for vote scheme. In fact, the posts that we were actually able to review just on the Nevada Native Vote Project's Facebook page alone shows that similar raffles were conducted in 15 Nevada Native communities, with over $6,000 being doled out in cash prizes. Other prizes included HP laptops, Bose speakers, and an Apple iPad, at least one. So where was all this money coming from, you might be asking yourself? Well, in one Facebook post, the vote coordinator for the Nevada Native Vote Project thanked an organization called the National Congress of American Indians for providing these incentives, they called them. And according to its website, the National Congress of American Indians is funded in part by tax dollars from the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Defense, the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of the Interior, the Department of Justice, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Small Business Administration. And also notice something very special. On its website, under the list of supporters is also something known as the Open Society Foundations, which, if you're aware, is of course headed by our favorite left-leaning billionaire megadonor, George Soros. Now, we reached out to both the Department of Justice as well as the National Congress of American Indians, but have yet to hear back. Now, if you think that this is limited only to Nevada, you'd be very wrong, because we found videos and evidence of this same scheme playing out in Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Washington, Idaho, Texas, and Ohio. If you want to go deeper into this story, and if you want to watch these videos yourself, and maybe see if it's not too late to enter your name into these raffles, all of the links will be in the description box below this video. Now let's shift gears a little bit and discuss what's been happening in Pennsylvania. Yesterday, Republican state lawmakers formally introduced a resolution to dispute the results of the 2020 election. The text of this resolution basically says that the executive and the judicial branches of Pennsylvania's government hijacked the legislator's constitutional power to set the rules of the election. The resolution then broke down the specific 3 steps that were taken by the judicial and executive branches to change Pennsylvania's election rules. And in the text of that same resolution, they also listed a variety of election irregularities as well as potential fraud that took place, a lot of which we discussed actually in a previous episode. And I'll throw the link to that episode right here in the top right corner if you're interested in checking it out for yourself. Now, as a solution, the Pennsylvania lawmakers are calling on the Secretary of State to withdraw the election certification, as well as to officially declare that the 2020 election is in dispute. So we'll keep you abreast of any developments as this resolution is working its way through the legislature. And if you'd like to read the full text for yourself, we'll throw the link in the description box below this video for you to check out for yourself. Now let's move over to Arizona. Yesterday in Phoenix, there was a hearing where lawyers for President Trump, including Rudy Giuliani as well as Jenna Ellis, presented considerable evidence of voter fraud to the Arizona legislature. Among other things, there was a bombshell allegation by a cybersecurity expert who said that the Dominion voting machines in multiple states were connected to the internet during the election. And he mentioned that this was not a glitch or an aberration. The user guides, the user manuals for these machines actually guide users on how to connect to the internet. He said that on election day, his team looked at the spirographs on the Dominion network and they showed an increase in web traffic, basically internet traffic on election day for Dominion servers. He went on to say that there is no transparency of how voter information is processed, moved, and stored. And as a matter of fact, these companies have refused to allow any type of inspection into their code, and they always decry it's our intellectual property. Another witness at this hearing, a volunteer poll worker, said that she was instructed by state election officials to allow people to vote who may not have been properly registered. She said, "I was having to allow people to vote who literally had just moved here. A large percentage had addresses from 2 apartment complexes." She went on to say that many of these individuals were residents for not more than a month. According to her estimates, about 2,000 people appear to be out-of-state voters but voting in Arizona. Now, the state representatives who were at this hearing, they're calling for a resolution to basically not certify the election and withhold Arizona's electoral votes indefinitely. But can they do that? Well, they actually can, because superseding any state statutes is the U.S. Constitution, which stipulates that state legislatures have the exclusive authority to certify a state's electors. So these lawmakers' plan is to have this resolution done in the next day or 2. That's what they say. So we'll keep you abreast of developments as they're unfolding. If you'd like to read more about these hearings or about this upcoming Arizona resolution, we'll throw the links in the description box that's right below this video. That's the box that's right next to that like button. The like button that if you hit pushes this video out to thousands of more people. Now, by the way, just as an aside, there was so much witness testimony as well as new information revealed at yesterday's Arizona hearing that I'm considering spending a full day just combing through all of it and creating a video dedicated to just the highlights. Please let me know if that's something you'd be interested in by leaving a comment in the comment section below this video. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about Georgia. Yesterday, we discussed how the judge who is presiding over Sidney Powell's lawsuit kept flip-flopping on the question of whether state officials could wipe data from the Dominion voting machines. At first, the judge ordered that the officials cannot delete the data on these machines. Then he changed his mind and said that they can delete the data if they wanted to. And then he changed his mind again and said that the officials cannot delete the data. If you're interested in learning more about this flip-flop drama, we covered it in yesterday's episode, and I'll throw the link in the top right corner right here for you to check out. But since then, the story has gotten a lot deeper. Yesterday, during an interview, Sidney Powell said that someone had removed a Dominion voting system server from a recount center in Fulton County, which is in Georgia. And she said that this happened in the few hours while she was trying to get a temporary restraining order against data wiping. So basically, here's what seems to have happened. At first, the judge ordered that the machines cannot be wiped. Then he changed his mind and said that they can be wiped. And then he changed his mind again and said that they cannot be wiped. But between the second and third orders, Sidney Powell said that someone went down to the Fulton Center where the votes and Dominion machines were, claimed that there was some software glitch and they had to replace the software, and it seems that they removed the server. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds mighty suspicious to me. However, we actually reached out to the local officials in Fulton County, and they told us that the machines have not been moved and are still in the warehouse right where they always were. So who's telling the truth? Who's lying? And is there more to the story that's beneath the surface? Well, thus far, that's all we know. But earlier today, we actually sent one of our investigative journalists down to Georgia to look for the server, as well as to look for clues as to what is actually going on down there. We'll let you know in the coming days what he finds. And if you want to know more about why the Dominion voting systems feature so prominently in Sidney Powell's lawsuit, we discussed that in a previous episode. I'll throw the link to it in the top right corner right here for you to check out. I'll also throw the links to the article about this disappearing server in the description box below this video for you to check out for yourself. Now, lastly, I want to discuss what's happening in Wisconsin. Yesterday, the state certified its election results and officially announced that Joe Biden was the winner of Wisconsin's 10 electoral votes. So this came after the conclusion of a recount that was paid for by the Trump campaign. Now, even though the recount still showed that Joe Biden had more votes, here's what President Trump had to say. The Wisconsin recount is not about finding mistakes in the count. It is about finding people who have voted illegally, and that case will be brought after the recount is over on Monday or Tuesday. We have found many illegal votes. Stay tuned. Now, we are staying tuned and looking out for any legal action that's being taken by the Trump team. However, in the meanwhile, there are already several lawsuits in the Wisconsin courts that are alleging voter fraud. One of them was filed just last week by the Wisconsin Voters Alliance, which is a nonprofit, alongside more than 24 voters. They allege that over 150,000 votes are ineligible and illegal. Why? Well, among other things, they claim that many of these votes were absentee ballots requested by voters who claim to be indefinitely confined, and this allowed them to vote without showing a photo ID. But this lawsuit cites an analysis which shows that nearly 100,000 of these people falsely claimed that they were indefinitely confined. It also claims that 14,000 ballots were requested in the names of registered Republicans by someone other than the person themselves. And also separately, more than 12,000 Republican ballots that were requested and returned were never counted. So as you can see, there's still a lot in play over in Wisconsin. We'll keep you abreast of any developments as they're coming about in these lawsuits, as well as any new lawsuits that might be brought forth by the Trump campaign in the near future. We'll also throw the links to the articles about the recount, the certification, as well as the lawsuits in the description box below this video for you to check out for yourself. And until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epic Times. Stay informed and stay free.